Hey guys, in this video I'm going to quickly criticize podcasts as a learning tool and suggest books are better basically. It's something I've been doing a lot, is listening to podcasts, and I think you do need testing to really have it sink in, and with the comparison to books, you won't get the full depth and the full footnotes and the full understanding by simply listening to podcasts. Audiobooks, I think, are a bit better if you can hold the attention span and you break it down into certain amount of minutes or hours per day, and you can really zone in and focus in. But there is something about reading that it pulls you in more, and you can't get the full depth of somebody who's went to university for 6 years in a very specialized field by listening to their podcast. It doesn't translate because they have a larger scope of understanding, and they're doing a pinpoint video, and you're getting the pinpoint facts in that video, but you don't have the broader understanding. And I think what appeals to what draws people into podcasts, to listen to podcasts, educational podcasts, not the funny ones like Come Town and that, but it is almost a pseudo education, and it's better than nothing, and I feel like it does sharpen you up a little bit, but it reminds me of the laugh track on sitcoms. Is the laugh track kind of takes the work away from you. Like it's debatable, like, is the laugh track trying to Pavlov dog you into laughing at the right times, or is it doing the laughing for you? I think it's meant to do the laughing for you, so you can lay down, relax, turn off your brain, and even the laughing is done for you. And I feel educational podcasts are like that, in the sense they've done all the mental digestion for you, and they're just giving you the information directly. And I think without digesting that information yourself, you're not actually getting educated by listening to these podcasts. You're getting a very small, isolated scope of knowledge that is more or less better just for repeating things that were said on the podcast, rather than actually having a depth of knowledge. And this might be self-evident and obvious for a lot of people. It's not obvious for me. I've spent a lot of time listening to educational podcasts, kind of expecting to get an education from it. And I think the one type of podcast that really does translate that way, it is history and like nutrition, stuff like that, because they're quick facts that just, you can memorize the quick facts, and you don't need to be really engaged in standardized testing or in a group setting, bouncing your ideas off of other people. But I feel like a lot of other podcasts, you're not going to fully digest what they're saying to you. And I feel that the allure of it is that you don't have to actually think. And obviously a lot of it is cost and time, because an education can put you into student debts and things like this. But I feel like people are kind of hooked on these podcasts because they want to feel like they're thinking, and it might be detrimental. I think it might be actually working backwards, when you could pick up a book and kind of map out your own thought patterns through the more old school way. And something that I see in a lot of these educational podcasts, that not educational podcasts, but in motivational podcasts, to move on a little bit in the video here, the motivational podcast is almost like canned motivation, where you can listen to these things in your home and you don't actually have to go out and do anything. But if you're actually going to go out and do something, you wouldn't be listening to these motivational podcasts. You'd just be doing the thing that you wanted to do. So there comes a time where it's self-defeating, and it creates a loop where you're just listening to podcasts, and I don't think you're actually going to get the returns that I once thought that I was getting from them. They are good for entertainment, but I don't feel if you look into the manosphere, dark, what is it, intellectual dark web or whatever, those kinds of videos, it kind of says do more, do more, do more, do more, and you can keep doing more, and I think that's good, but it comes to a point where if you're really going to be doing more, you're not going to be just listening to podcasts. So it is, like I said, a cycle there. And also, there's only so much that you can do. I feel like it's a money grab for a lot of the podcasters that are making these videos, because they're grabbing the ear of people that are quite lost right now. But I don't know if people are lost because they're actually not trying, or if they're lazy and they need this kind of podcast stimulation, or if it's just the economy and the society in general that is in decline. And if it's the society and economy in general that's in decline, then there's going to be less opportunities for people, and perhaps the people that are more attracted to motivational and self-help are the people that are at the bottom of the totem pole. And some of the things can be corrected, some of them I think can't. And I think in the situations where the person can't be helped with self-help, and they're maybe perhaps permanently at the bottom of the totem pole, they can get sucked into the kind of far right, you need to be doing more type of mindset, and their doing more is kind of just promoting political troll farms online, or things like that, and they're trying to use that as a counterbalance, which is bringing a negative force into the world. So I think if you actually looked at Jordan Peterson's book, or in his interviews, one of his main laws or his rules is not to compare yourself to other people. But I think a lot of people are comparing themselves to Jocko, to Jordan Peterson, to all Joe Rogan, all these guys, and they're trying to kind of, for lack of a better term, dick ride their way into being Jocko or something just by listening to these podcasts and doing push-ups and things. But that's not, it's just a person on a hamster wheel at that point. So I think that these videos have a real negative side to them that's not really, that hasn't really been discussed or looked at. So I'm going to wrap this video up with one more thought. And I know this was kind of rambling, and I was kind of struggling to get it all out, and I don't think many people would listen to this whole thing, but if you did, thank you. The good times are created by strong men, and then whatever the fucking whole quote is. But man, I fucked that. I fucked that up pretty bad. But it's the meme. It's how does it go? Weak men create bad times create strong men create good times, and then it's that loop. It's hard to say who's to blame in that, who's the weak man in that, and at what point in the generational cycle we're at right now. I think right now we're probably on the cusp of people need to get strong again, and I don't know who the weak person would be. If I think it's implied that it's millennials, but I don't see that being the case, because most millennials work 2-3 jobs and are really spinning their wheels, getting nowhere. So I think it would be the baby boomers. It's basically one or the other. Gen Z's thrown in there sometimes too. There's a lot of finger pointing around. I think to figure that out would be a good idea, who the weak person in that would be. But we're definitely in decline right now, and I don't think that podcasts are gonna save people. And I think a lot of people very low in the social hierarchy are expecting podcasts to save them almost, like the Jordan Peterson, Jocko Wilkins type podcast. It's not going to save you. You need to get out and you need to find your way, and you need to try things. Reading is good. If you can multitask, and if you're loading boxes at UPS and that's your job, and your supervisor allows you to have headphones in to listen to a podcast, that might be okay way to multitask and get something educational in. But at the same time, to not have your headphones in and just to be situational awareness type in the moment is probably more beneficial for your mental health. So this is a long rambling video. Hopefully someone got a point from it. I should have prepared better. I'm kind of foggy in my mind a little bit right now because I am recovering from shingles, which is weird that I even got shingles at my age, but it is what it is. Hope everyone's having a good day, and God bless.